This is Mark Bell from SuperTraining.tv, Super Training Gym, the strongest gym in the West, answering more questions today for the Power Project. We got a couple good questions from off the Facebooks today. Question number one was this guy, he likes to squat wide, but he's wondering how wide is too wide and what's the most optimal. I like to refer to this, you hear me talk about it here and there, Power Project Army. I talk about it being a skill set. Having the ability, having the mobility and the hip strength to be able to handle super wide stance is not for everybody. And so this needs to be recognized, something you need to realize right away. Best way to do this, even if you're not somebody who likes to do box squats, set yourself up on a box that's slightly below parallel or just at parallel, and get your stance out wide as you can handle, or as wide as you think you can handle. Sit in the box, stay there for a second, and look at where your knees are in relation to where your feet are. Your knees should come out to where your feet are. Your knees should be over where your ankles are. So if you can't do that, if your knees are inside, if your knees are caving in or they're inside of where your feet are or where your ankles are, then you're squatting a little bit too wide. Everyone's a little bit different. Find your own comfort level. Find what you feel is the most powerful, what's the most powerful for you, and kind of go from there. A standard method for the Westside Barbell members is to squat a little bit wider in training with the feet straight ahead. Why do they do that? To help strengthen up the hips. To help strengthen up the hips, the glutes, hamstrings, lower back, all the big muscles that are involved in a big contest squat. So that's something to think about. And another thing you might want to realize is that squatting wide is not for everybody. You certainly can squat too wide. If you start squatting wide and you start to get a lot of pain in your hips, that's a message that you better slow down. So take the feedback you get from your own body and try to understand what it's telling you. Let's see, what else we got? How fat is too fat is another question. This is off of Facebook as well, or maybe off the YouTubes. Might be off the YouTubes. But we got a question. I answered a question a while back about injury prevention, staying in shape, proper warm-ups, things like that. And I did mention, don't let yourself get too fat. And what I meant by that was don't let yourself get too fat and out of shape. Because that could certainly lead to injury. I think that people think getting bigger, gaining more muscle mass and just more mass period, whether it's fat or muscle, is always conducive to getting stronger. And it can be. And it certainly, in many cases, will help. But when your health is compromised, your strength will be compromised as well. So that's something to think about, although I've seen some very unhealthy people lift some enormous amounts of weight. But if it starts to impede your lifestyle, if it starts to affect your sleep, which it does for many of us develop sleep apnea as you get bigger and bigger. Acid reflux. You think you're really digesting those proteins and carbohydrates and fats all that well when you have acid reflux all day long? Probably not. I'm no scientist. I don't know the stats behind it, the science behind it, the research behind it, but I do know that it's not good. Burping up and halfway puking up your own food all day can't be healthy for you, can't be good for you. High blood pressure and other things like that are going to start to affect the little things in life, and those little things will turn into bigger things as you try to move forward. So keep yourself healthy. This is a marathon, not a sprint. You got to realize that powerlifting, it takes a long time to accumulate the strength that you want, and you also never actually end up with the strength that you ever want. Even the great Ed Coan probably always wanted a little bit more. Even after deadlifting 901 at 220, he did unsuccessfully try a 920-pound deadlift after that, and he missed it. And I'm sure he would have loved to have that. Anyway, we got one more question. Let's see, too fat, too wide. And this last question is about getting a lift off. This guy says he goes to a meet, he's involved in a federation that doesn't allow him to bring his own handlers. Which, by the way, this is the dumbest rule probably that there is. I don't know, it might be. Anyway, what you want to try to do is you want to try to get yourself into competitions that allow you to perform your best, or if you're a coach, it allows your lifters to perform their best. While you're not looking for a gift or anything like that, you're also trying to look for something that rewards you for your training. All these hours of training, you don't want something stupid like some other liftoff guy that you're not used to. You don't want that screwing you up when you get to the meet. I mean, I know we want to try to not use any excuses because the road to nowhere is paved by excuses. And here at the Power Project, we try not to use those. However, there's some stupid things that happen at powerlifting meets from time to time, and it is great to have an ally. It's great to have a handler with you, somebody that you're comfortable with, somebody that you're used to help hand off to you. Now, if you don't have that option, as you mentioned that you don't in this federation, I would either A, get out of this federation, or B, two, I would get with whoever's lifting off, find out who's lifting off for your flight, because they utilize different people nearly every flight. Find out who's lifting off in your flight from whoever's running the contest. Get with that person before the meet ever starts, and do a couple attempts with 135 and 225, and get a good feel for how they lift off, and tell them what you're looking for. Another way to do it to ensure that it's a little bit more idiot-proof is say, dude, just get me out of the hooks and I'll take the rest from there. That way you don't have to worry about them trying to settle the weight for you or anything. Tell them not to lift it up too much. A lot of people, when they lift off weights, they're trying to lift up way too much of it. You don't need to lift up that much of it. You just need to get the guy out of the hooks and get the weight out over to wherever he wants it. Now everybody's a little different. For me, when I do a raw bench, I only go to about here. When I do a shirted bench, I go to about here. So everyone's a little different on that, but communicate with people on what your comfort level is. And if you're having problems with that particular federation, find another one. Find one that allows you to perform your best. It gives you the best opportunity to showcase the strength that you have. At Super Training, the meet we have coming up November 3rd and 4th, the men's meet, by the way, is closed. We got about 70 lifters already, so we're shutting her down. But the backyard meet of the century and the women's pro-am the following day, we pour our heart and soul into those meets, and we make sure that it's the best meet that we can possibly run. And it's about the lifters. It's not about anything else. It's not about meat promoter. It's not about, like, I'm not even a meat promoter. People always think that I'm a meat promoter. I don't even promote our meets. I promote them, but I don't run them. The person that runs our meets is Kara Weston, and she kind of just does all the paperwork and all that stuff. We have a lot of other people behind the scenes. I could care less about running a powerlifting meet, to be 100% honest with you. But what I do care about is I do care about results, and I do care about lifter safety, and I do care about lifters hitting PRs on the platform and giving them every opportunity to do so, and that's what we believe in at Super Training. The SPF, you guys think I care about the SPF? I care less about any of the PFs or any of the Fs or any of the powerlifting federations out there. I could give a rat's ass. I think almost 99% of them are dumb. I don't even really think we need federations. However, you need a federation in order to get a record. That's another story for another day. Hopefully I'll take care of all that someday. But anywho's, it's not about the federations, it's about the lifters. And the reason why I ever went with the SPF in the first place was it was the only federation at the time that offered all three: raw, single ply, and multiply. And I wanted to be able to offer that to all the lifters because, like I said, it's about the lifters and not about the federations. Embrace your fears, protect your dreams, and follow through on your dreams. That is it from supertraining.tv. Later.